Hi, everyone. This is Mary Esther Miranda Gilbert, your holistic nutritional physiologist, nutritional science, medicines, botanical researcher, and writer of scientific works from scientists from around the world, gathering all of the health benefits of the botanicals on this planet, balancing it and integrating it into our nutritional and uh, holistic overall health protocols to keep us young and strong and vibrant in order to face today's world. So instead of being sick and tired and just feeling overwhelmed, and along with that comes with emotions that are devastating, hopelessness, depression, loss of hope, all kinds of things are happening to people. But if we aren't vibrantly healthy, it's difficult, very difficult to handle it, not only handle it, but to try to make the world a better place. It is each one of our responsibilities here on this planet to contribute something, however small, toward a better world. So my little bit from my little corner of the world is to research the science of all of the different botanicals on the planet to put nutritional healing protocols together, evidence scientific based, of course, so that when people get their results, it matches all of that science. So that's what's so exciting about the work that I do. So today, or tonight, wherever you are, I'm going to share with you some information about aged garlic. Now, that is something that more and more scientific research is being done on. And of course, there's an innumerable amount of research done for garlic in general. But for aged garlic, that is something that's being recognized by the scientific community and in clinical research studies. So I'm going to share with you the benefits of the aged garlic, or AGE. It's called aged garlic extract, so or AGE for short. Also, I'm going to share with you a little bit about rose essential oil. Now, a lot of people have used that for aromatherapy, of course, throughout the world, throughout the ages, actually. And I'm going to give you a little bit about this exciting scientific research done on rose essential oil. It's heavenly, right? Who doesn't love roses? But when you use the essential oil, it has so many health benefits. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of give you kind of an introduction that I like to give to my True Health Mastery Institute True Health Journal newsletter membership. But I love to share with the public, the work that I'm doing with the members. So I'd like to start out with a little bit of a story, a little bit of an incident that happened to me this last weekend. I don't often sit around and people watch. Sometimes it's interesting, right? But over the weekend, after completing my morning run at my favorite park, which, I run for an hour out in the sun and I interact with the trees and breathe the fresh air and all of that. While eating, after I had completed my morning run, I was watching seniors and young couples walking their dogs and families playing in the grass, eating my wonderful snack. But I like to sometimes just interact with people, say hello, and sometimes they stop and want to talk. Of all kinds of things that come up in quick conversations like that, as two people in passing, right? Families playing in the grass, young athletes playing basketball. I just love that environment. It's an equestrian community. Sometimes there you see the horses, running around in their corrals, or if they have competition events, it's always so fun. There's always cyclists, gliding by on the bike trail, passing me by as I'm running. And, just runners like me are so determined and so disciplined in getting ourselves out there to get some sunshine and grow strong bones and all the health benefits that come with being out in the sunshine. But, you know, the scene wasn't really nothing out of the ordinary. But I like the friendly interactions also, as I said, but there's such good people that are out there, out and about. I really enjoy that park. Um, but, this time I noticed more than usual the slow moving, shuffling, in pain people that were out there taking in the sunshine too, breathing the fresh air and fragrant therapeutic aromas being released by the trees and nature. Altogether, it's a healing environment for them. Bless them. Those who suffer especially appreciate a friendly hello or comment or any encouraging gesture. You're doing great today. How are you today? Kind of thing. And sometimes there is the occasional engagement in conversation with some of these most interesting people, especially the seniors. An opportunity to share nutritional healing knowledge always comes up. It's always inevitable because they start talking about their health issues, especially when they ask me what I do. And then we have a deeper conversation, of course. So it's almost always without exception that people start talking about their health issues. So if you are a health enthusiast and are applying the worldwide knowledge, the science behind uh, maintaining your health, it's very important that we share this information as much as possible, not in an overwhelming way and not in a pushing kind of way, but when the subject comes up and people show a little bit of an interest on how you are healthy, then they're always going to want to try something, right? So not an opportunity to sell anything necessarily, but just to pass on tidbits of wisdom and science-based, evidence-based information that's actually been applied to humankind for thousands of years before science even came along, or maybe there was a science. There was, not to go off track a little bit off subject, but archaeologists and other scientists are discovering that the ancients did have a high technology. Sometimes in some instances, it seems like their technology was even greater or more sophisticated or more advanced than ours. So it's very exciting. So I'd like to also share what happened this weekend. After my run, I was doing some what I call stair stepping. They have wonderfully molded cement benches throughout the park. And so I just found one in the shade. It was almost 90 degrees on the weekend. So, it was getting pretty warm out there. So I decided to go ahead and do some of the stair stepping, repetitions on the bench. So stepping up, stepping down, stepping up, stepping down, and switching sides and doing the other leg. So when I finished that workout, I heard a woman's voice behind me about 30 feet. She was calling out her surprise at how easily I was able to do this. I've been doing this for years, weight training and running and playing various sports over the years, martial arts, all that stuff keeps you in tip-top shape. So stair stepping was something that I just had incorporated at one time or another, all these years. So I just decided to do a few of those. It turned out that she was several years younger than me. She wanted to talk more, she watched me complete the moves and I was walking away and I heard her, yelling this surprise, comments out at me. So I stopped and talked. And she just couldn't get over how I performed the moves so easily. When you've been working out all your life, it's not hard to do those. It's, you feel the pump in your legs and it just feels good to do that, right? So I thought I would throw that in. But, situations like this is where I feel dismayed at not being able to reach more of humanity to help people realize that they can get strong and stay strong. They can get healthy and stay healthy no matter what their age is. Their body is going to respond, which naturally develops into a can-do mindset. It gives you so much confidence. You feel like you can do anything, right? So it elevates one into a whole new level of living in all areas of life. I've seen this in my clients for many, many years. This nice lady was saying she knew she could never do what I did. Yet what I did was so minor, non-impressive in my view, just a few reps on a bench. Oh, please. To her, however, she was so sure it was completely out of a realm of possibility. So what's the solution to this widespread problem of living in a matrix that has hidden the truth of health, vibrancy, and fitness being entirely possible for anyone advancing in age, and which lack of such life-saving, life-promoting knowledge results in weak, sick, and self-limiting thinking? I believe that just the very focus of working on being our best version of ourselves, physically, mentally, spiritually, educational wise, just gaining life wisdom, going out and interacting and doing things and learning and just building ourselves. It goes farther and wider than we can imagine if, someone is going to be inspired by you. We might be going around inspiring people who don't always let us know how much we may have influenced their lives, unless you run into them sometime later and they say, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't, be where I am today because I'm so much healthier and I'm doing so much more and life has so many more possibilities in this higher realm of healthy living. Um, all we can do is just exert our best efforts of spreading the word of true health merely by helping others make that vital connection between optimal health practices and the vast life possibilities that come with real health freedom. Real health freedom. If planting a seed of encouragement and information is all we can accomplish in any encounter, then we have at least provided someone a doorway toward new higher perspectives and surprising capabilities. I like to think that this dear woman will remember that an older woman performed what she considered to be an impossible task for herself. Yet, after sharing how I got to a capable level of fitness and vivacity, and that she can too, this may have been one of those life transformative events, a turning point that put her on a better life trajectory, right? If only we knew just how far such positive chance encounters actually influence others, going around touching lives and maybe even saving lives, saving people's lives just by getting them started, pointing them in the right direction, just by being ourselves, by being the best version of ourselves we possibly can. And of course, that's an ongoing thing, especially with myself, a forever student of the world, of in all aspects of life. But we can do what we can do, and all we can do is try. But we probably influence people in ways we never would have dreamed. And everyone has their own unique perspectives on things and on other people. They have impressions of other people, of each other. And, we can't get inside each other's heads for all of the years that we've been here. So it's impossible to know someone so well that you think you know them pretty well. So, all we can do is just be the best version of ourselves, and hopefully we might be able to inspire others. Okay, so that's my soapbox kind of sharing from the heart kind of thing. But I really would like to show you a little bit about what the aged garlic extract can do for the body. The scientists have been performing so many different scientific studies. Some of them are clinical studies. Some of them are in vitro, where they study lab cultures in the laboratory, or they test on live subjects. So, the science varies according to the kind of research that's being done on these various botanicals. But it starts accumulating and they see the results, and pretty soon you have a pattern. Pretty soon you have something that's reliable. And when someone reads the science, they want to try it for themselves. And so, you just try it and see what your results are. When your results match the science, you've got the truth. You've got a protocol that you can stick with for the rest of your life. It's not just for getting well temporarily. It's not just for nourishing your body temporarily. This is something that the human body needs. Nourishment needs complete and correct nourishment every single day. Otherwise, if there's something missing and that becomes chronic, then things start breaking down. And pretty soon you start noticing the symptoms, and you go to the doctor, and they're not trained on nutritional medicine. They're not trained on the science behind what plants on this earth can do for the body. But there's just thousands upon thousands of research studies on the botanicals of this planet that confirm what the ancients already knew, what the indigenous healers have known for hundreds, thousands of years. So all of that, when all of that comes together and matches, you've got something you can be pretty confident about, right? Okay, so now let me go ahead, and I might as well share my screen before I forget. Sometimes I'm horrified that I forget to share my screen, and I'm saying, oh, as you can see here, but it's embarrassing when I go back and realize, oh, I forgot to share my screen. But anyhow, let me go ahead and do that for you. Okay, so I'm going to give you glimpses of the True Health Journal newsletter that I put out to members twice a month. And so I'm going to take you through the main highlights of this report. So uh, the whole report is based on reversing arterial plaque buildup in heart disease and related health conditions. So plaque buildup happens in other organ systems like the liver, muscles, things like that. Okay. So the atherosclerotic plaque, or the hardening of the arteries, doesn't physically build up inside the microcirculatory system in the same way. You have things like what are called coronary microvascular disease and microembolism. So the microcirculation suffers. It tells you in the form of pain. So while the plaque that forms in the larger arteries doesn't form in the microvessels, this disease process affects these microcapillaries in three main ways. So the microembolisms, these are pieces of plaque that can break off from the large arteries and travel downstream or throughout the system, acting like microscopic blockages in the tiny vessels. And your body tells you this in the way of pain. It could be severe headaches or muscular pain or anything like that. So it's important to keep those tiny blood vessels open with the right nourishment. Microvascular dysfunction, the same risk factors that cause plaque, high cholesterol, smoking, diabetes. The jury has been out for some years now as far as if plaque does consist of cholesterol. The body makes cholesterol. It needs it for every single cell structure. It needs it for every single hormone the body produces. It's needed in the brain. So cholesterol's been given a bad rap over the years, but sometimes it's, put in the same category. But smoking and diabetes definitely have been shown to cause hardening of the arteries or atherosclerosis. So when you have microvascular dysfunction, then that's the damage of the walls of the tiny vessels, causing spasms, preventing them from dilating properly. When your blood vessels dilate and they contract, they have this pulsing muscular action inside the blood vessels, the large arteries and the smaller ones. So you've got this pulsing action going on, the heart beating, pumping fresh oxygenated blood throughout the system. Also, systemic inflammation. So plaque is an inflammatory result or process that releases substances into the bloodstream, and that triggers widespread oxidative stress or cell-damaging stress and inflammation resulting from that stress, from that damage in the microcirculatory system. So when the microcirculation fails to deliver oxygen-rich blood, then it can lead to myocardial ischemia, that is chest pain, also angina, called angina. So it's often experienced by patients, especially women who have clear large arteries but blocked spasming tiny vessels. Okay, so also we have microinfarctions, tiny areas of tissue death, often in the heart or the brain, leading to long-term organ damage. Okay, so the research indicates that aged garlic extract, or AGE, improves microcirculation and endothelial function, which is certain types of cells in different tissues, which can boost tissue perfusion and potentially aid in wound healing. So these effects are primarily attributed to antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and vasodilatory properties of its active sulfur compounds like S-allylcysteine. All right, so there's different compounds in garlic that aid the functioning of the blood vessels, open the arteries up to allow more oxygen and nutrients to flow through, prevent inflammation, things like that, that the scientists have discovered about garlic in general, but especially the aged garlic extract. According to the science, the AGE is much more bioavailable without all of the other compounds that might be counterbalancing some of the garlic's effects. Now, garlic is a very wonderful healing food, so these effects, these counter effects are minor. But the aged garlic extract, it tends to intensify the medicinal properties of this plant, according to the scientists. So clinical evidence findings. Now we have, they talked about enhanced blood flow. There's many different types of scientific studies done. This one is a double-blind placebo-controlled study published in the International Wound Journal. It found that 12 months of daily 2,400 milligrams of AGE supplementation significantly improved cutaneous microcirculation, that's in the skin, measured by this certain laser Doppler velocimetry. Okay, in patients at high risk for cardiovascular disease. So yeah, sometimes it takes a while. The body just doesn't fix things overnight, and especially when it's been damaged, and especially when it's busy, doing all kinds of other things that keep us alive at that microcell level in this inner universe of ours. It's very complex things that are going on in our body. So it's great that they carry on these applications of, this kind of study for this long. So double blind means neither the scientists applying the substance, in this case the AGE, versus the people, the recipients that are taking it. So neither party knows what it is. So this is a very good way to keep everything objective. And so, yeah, one group was given a placebo, another group was given what they call the AGE. So that's what a double-blind placebo-controlled study is. So, everything stays very, very objective. All right, so endothelial function. Now that's the cells that are in so many of the tissues that form the tissues in various systems. So AGE has been shown to improve that endothelial function, which means it's going to absorb nutrients and process things so that the cells function properly in both macro and micro circulation. So it mitigates conditions like homocysteine-induced damage. So some of these proteins the body produces are inflammatory proteins. So the immune system has to be able to recognize and regulate with the aid of our wonderful plant kingdom that scientists have discovered that actually help with attenuation, balancing effects of not allowing too much inflammation, but allowing enough inflammation to alert all of the other immune system types of immune cells in the body to go to work and fix the problem, right? So AGE has a very good systemic impact. It inhibits the progression of atherosclerosis, they found, and AGE fosters healthier vessel walls. So not only does it open up the arteries, but it also, of course, gets rid of plaque, but also helps build healthier walls that are more functional, giving the blood vessel more pliability and elasticity instead of rigidity that would otherwise make them damaged. All right, so let me go ahead and skip a little bit here. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits of the aged garlic extract. So I'm going to refer to it as AGE because it's quite a mouthful, as you know. I have to go slowly so I don't stumble on my words here. But AGE is highly regarded in scientific literature for potent antioxidant and disease-preventing properties. That sums it up pretty well, which stem from a rich profile of bioactive phytochemical compounds. These are the wonderful plant fluids that are so beneficial to our health. During the aging process, unstable compounds like allicin transform into highly stable bioavailable organosulfur compounds and flavonoids. So these are various wonderful plant compounds that become more stable and more absorbable into our cells, into that microuniverse of our cells. So these are the key phytochemicals. They're also mouthfuls, and so you can just read them here. Pause the video and try to pronounce them. Let's do that just for exercise, shall we? Okay, S-allyl-cysteine. Break the words down. A-L-L-Y-L is allyl, cysteine. Okay, so it takes practice to recognize the sequences of letters in some of these scientific terms, but with practice, you'll sound like a real pro before too long. So let's take the next one, S-allyl, mercaptocystine. This is why the scientists abbreviate them, and they name them according to the arrangement of molecules, the sequence of molecules that they're built from, or that they're composed of. So water-soluble polypeptides and flavonoids, they've got all kinds of wonderful polypeptides, and flavonoids are huge classifications of plant chemicals in the plant kingdom. So they have many, many health benefits. So allicin or allicin, sometimes they pronounce the X as a Z, and varying trace minerals like selenium, which boosts the antioxidant capacity of the extract. Now, I want to point out here, I want everyone to have a caution here. Whenever I mention an individual mineral or vitamin, please do not go out and purchase that particular individual isolated nutrient. It doesn't work that way in the body. They come in huge molecular structures, whole complexes, holographic, multidimensional complexes. And when one of those nutrients is extracted, sometimes as in vitamins, they're actually synthetic. They try to copy, this complex nutrient that's in whole foods. So you don't want to separate that out. It doesn't work very well in the body at all. And sometimes you can have toxic, side effects. So especially with minerals like selenium, you don't want to isolate that. You want to put that, eat that or consume that in a whole complex in a whole food. All right, so oil-soluble organosulfurs. So sulfur comes in all kinds of forms in the plant kingdom. So here's some more. Let's pronounce some more. Diallyl disulfide, or DADS, and diallyl trisulfide. See how that works? You just break it up, and you can pronounce them rather easily that way. All right, so these are all great antimicrobials, and also they help protect the heart, help it function better and help it oxygenate better and repair and maintain the tissues so much better. So that's what cardioprotective means. All right, so I just like to list, usually I list all of my references in a formal way, in a scientific standardized way, but I threw in, a few journals you can explore, and also a couple of really great links that go to different scientific research studies. Okay. But I always do, as you can see, as you can see in these parenthesized references, they refer to the reference sources at the end of this document. Okay, that's just how, we were taught in the scientific community. All through college, we had to make sure we referenced everything exactly right, because the whole world looks at these things. There has to be a standard even in different countries as to how things are presented and documented and referenced. So aged garlic extract has been found to reduce plaque in diabetic patient arteries. All right. So, I listed all the kinds of the studies that have been done on it here. And here's a nice little chart. I just love these charts. Love charts and graphs, So this is that study that studied the groups for 12 months. And so these are the plaque differences. The blue is the placebo, only worked a little bit, but in one instance, for some reason, it worked very well. There's so many factors that scientists try to keep track of in order to be consistent in their research. But sometimes someone breaks out of the mold and just doesn't fit the statistics at all. I found that to be true. Also, in orange, we have the active AGE that was applied compared to the placebo. So in general, it looks like the placebo worked pretty well, but in certain instances, it worked not as well as the AGE. So again, there's more studies that need to be done because this looks very inconsistent. If a scientific research study is done correctly or thoroughly or carefully, very meticulously, and they apply all the standardized techniques to research, then you probably won't have a graph that looks so varied like this. Usually the active component will perform better consistently rather than the placebo. And in some instances, the active didn't work at all. So again, this really is a red flag to all the people that are in the scientific world to do more research and to see what kind of results they're getting with AGE. And that works for any other thing that scientists are studying, right? Okay, so, and even I note here that the scientists declare that more research is done on AGE. Like I said, a lot of research is done on garlic itself, but not the aged garlic extract. Okay. Okay, so, and also there's more studies done on managing hypertension. You would imagine that since it repairs the arteries and clears the arteries, reduces plaque, according to the scientists, that is going to improve hypertension or high blood pressure, where there's too much pressure being applied to the blood vessels. So there's a lot of reasons why people have hypertension, dehydration, mineral imbalance, especially sodium potassium imbalances, and weakened arteries from eating the wrong fats, and eating the right fats will help build strong, pliable blood vessels. So that includes animal fats and plant fats in a 50%, 50%, 50-50 balanced, way of eating. So there's a lot of things that cause hypertension. Some side effects of some medications may do that. You might want to look up your side effects if you have any kind of health issues to see if those are some of your health issues. I found that to be true over the years when I've sat down with clients. Okay, so, there's more. Another double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled 12-week trial with 88 participants this time. So they measured the blood pressure and all of that, and after a time, they saw the results. So researchers, again, with this one, they assert again that different researchers asserted that larger studies are needed to assess the whole potential of AGE on arterial stiffness, including nutrient factors such as the B complexes and genetic factors. And notice I put in B complexes. Okay, so normally the scientists just say B complex. So that implies in the scientific world that it's going to be the array of the different B vitamins. But complexes, when it's in a whole food, it's much more complex than if you were to go out and buy a B vitamin supplement or a complex of supplements, because most of the time B complexes are made in laboratories. They're not food derived unless you buy an organic whole food derived kind of supplement that lists the B complexes, right? So we've got a huge array of micro nutrient factors in whole foods. And so scientists have been very busy over the last few decades just discovering all of these wonderful complex phytochemical compounds that are in our foods. So eating right, eating raw foods, eating organic to avoid the pesticides and the genetically modified organisms that, again, scientists have found, and I've done other YouTube videos on this very subject. Scientists have found that the genetically modified foods and the pesticides are very strongly linked, with more and more research studies coming out over the years, to things like cancer and things like nervous system disorders, things like that. So, the jury is still out probably for those critics who insist that those things are not associated with these illnesses, but there's more and more evidence coming out. So anyhow, there's more and more correlations and more people, just testifying that when I use this product, I got this condition kind of thing. So we can't disclose the empirical, the real life witnessing and experiencers that match that accumulated science, right? Okay, so for you members out there, I did put some links here for some of the products that I'm covering today. So this is, if you know me, which my members do know me pretty well, I research products very, very carefully, very, very thoroughly. And I've been examining ingredients and supplements for 47 years. So I can recognize a good supplement when I see it. I've seen the industry grow, and I've seen it evolve and become more and more responsible and producing better and better products all the time. So, I don't advocate trying this and trying that and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. No, my range of supplements on my website are whole food based. So there's a that has whole foods. It's organic, all organic. Yeah, and I'll show you the website and I'll show you the product. But yeah, use that to compare because I've done the research, I've done the comparisons, and it's been years since I found a product that's better than that particular one. So, and there's other augmenting nutrients too. If people need extra whole food complexes, vitamin C or whole food complex calcium, things like that. So I only deal with whole food complexes in the supplements that I advocate. All right, so this isn't a push to sell anything, but I just want people to know that you have to be careful when you buy supplements out there. Usually they're not very absorbable. They can be inflammatory to the tissues, especially over time. So stick to organic whole food complexes, both in your foods that you eat and in the supplements that you buy. That's my whole point here. Okay, so I'm going to cover a little bit of rose essential oil because I love rose essential oil so much. And now here's some science to support, how much I advocate it. So whether you inhale it or you apply it to your skin, it's just going to do wonders. These essential oils, by the way, will penetrate all the skin layers and enter the bloodstream. And your body loves these essential oils because it will distribute them wherever they are needed throughout the body. So our DNA recognizes the plant complexes, the phytochemical constituents that are in these botanicals. So the rose is very famous for all of its health benefits. And now here's a lot of science behind it too. So here's one. It says, it's about inhalation, increases brain gray matter volume, helps prevent dementia. Now I'm quoting what the scientists say. In one study, 50 healthy females, 28 in the intervention group and 22 in the control group, were asked to wear a designated rose scent on their clothes for 1 month. Now, they don't specify if they used a synthetic one in the control group, or I'm sure they used a true essential oil for the intervention group, right? So they were asked to wear a rose scent on their clothes for 1 month. And then they used their specific kind of, ways of examining the results. So in this case, they used the MRI. The results show that there was an increase in volume of total brain gray matter and in just 1 month's use, mind you, and posterior cingulate cortex subregion. Now, this is going to be in the brain here, and here's a cingulate gyrus back here. So you're talking about this area back here of the brain. Alrighty, so let's see here. So it's known that aromatherapy, I can't talk today for some reason. Aromatherapy stimulates physiological responses in the nervous, endocrine, and immune system. So the nervous system, the brain, the glandular system that produce hormones, and all of your different types of immune cells. They also affect the heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, brainwave activity, releasing of hormones. So all of this is so beneficial for these systems. So the limbic system of the brain's amygdala, hippocampus, cortical structures, including the parahippocampal and cingulate cortex, play a central role in the regulation of emotions and memories. So here we go. We have some blow-ups here of the different parts of the brain. Here's the amygdala. Here's the hypothalamus, the basal ganglia, the thalamus, the hippocampus. So all of these glands produce different hormones. All right, so I got this from the Britannica Encyclopedia. And also, here's another, quick look at the different PCC and the OFC and the amygdala. So researchers found that daily inhalation of rose essential oil increased gray matter volume of the whole brain and its PCC region. So let's go back here. See, did I say what PCC? Oh, yes, the posterior cingulate cortex subregion of the brain. Okay, so that's what this is here. Okay, so this showed implications in preventing dementia and brain atrophy. So people with dementia, their brains are shrinking. So apparently the rose essential oil, just by inhaling it, helped prevent this process. So there are many, many phytochemical complexes in botanicals, including the rose, and each of these complexes have been studied extensively throughout the world for many years. So, if you did a deeper dive on the rose, you would find out what these different complexes do in various systems in the body. So, and they're very careful with their words. They say this showed implications in preventing dementia and brain atrophy. They don't dare anger the medical industrial complex. Scientists know they walk a fine line between their discoveries and making assertions as to their findings and what they're allowed to say. So researchers concluded that continuous inhalation of rose essential oil for at least a month is beneficial for the whole brain. So that's what they found in their relatively, small study. And of course, they're always going to say that more research is needed, definitely. All right, so I list the phytochemical complexes in rose essential oil, in rose petals, and in rose hips. So I talk about, here's like I just said, the terpenes, the glycosides, the flavonoids, the anthocyanins, and then, you've got the beta citronellol and the nonadecane and the geraniol. So these are all different complexes. Researchers reported 95 complexes in just this one particular kind of rose. So again, the roses are so varied these days. So people have to list the scientific name so that other research, if they want to pursue more studies on that particular plant, to see if they come up with the same results or if they can advance the research on this particular plant. So, they have to list the scientific name for these botanicals. It's very, very important. Okay, so they say it's been found to exhibit anti-inflammatory, it's anti-infective. In other words, it destroys the microorganisms that make us sick, wound healing actions. It's found to be effective for relieving headaches and hemorrhoids and inflammatory problems in the gastrointestinal tract and for muscular pain. So again, these are all the different phytochemical complexes that get absorbed into the circulatory system, into the tissues, and your body allows them to do the repair work. So, all these different studies, both in laboratory, in vitro, and in live test subjects, both humans and animals, have been examined for the rose oil's effect on the central nervous system, including hypnotic, anticonvulsant, antidepressant, anti-anxiety, analgesic activities, and help with morphine withdrawal. Rose oil contains a wide array of antibacterial and antifungal properties against various illness-causing bacteria that people pick up and get infected with. So these are the scientific names for these different bacterium. Okay, so we've got Pseudomonas, Penicillium, Aspergillus, Candida, Bacillus cereus. So these are different, very well-known illness-causing bacteria. So also found to improve ileum contractions and gastrointestinal motility in rats, and inhalation of rose oil had protective actions against male reproductive system damages caused by formaldehyde exposure. So people are exposed to formaldehyde. It's a toxic chemical that's used in industries. So we get exposed to chemicals like this all the time. So here's another one, a review of 13 clinical trials. Now this report was a scientific review study of all these different studies. When a review board picks out studies to examine and compare and summarize, then they've done the homework for you. They've excluded science research that didn't quite live up to the standards by the scientific community, or they were incomplete studies or inadequate studies for whatever reason. In-house studies, corporations love to, brag that, oh yeah, it's been scientifically researched, but they hire their own scientists and they expect a certain outcome, right? That is not That is not objective science, right? So in this case, they reviewed 13 clinical trials, and there were 772 subjects that were tested in these in combination of all these different trials. And so they included studies that evaluated rose oil as aromatherapy and its effect when used topically, since essential oils are immediately absorbed into the body either way. Maybe I need to take a swig of my tea here. All right, here we go. These studies confirm other findings that essential oils produce immediate changes in muscle tension, blood pressure, pulse rate, skin temperature, skin blood flow, and electrodermal and brain activity. So apparently they tested, they did, plugged their subjects up to electrodes or something and looked at their brain activity, right? So, I mean, rose oil in general has been known to just be very relaxing and put you in a good mood, and just make your skin look great, things like that in the general public's eye. But look at all of the research findings that the scientists have found that just this information hasn't got out to the public in as a mainstream kind of information. This is why, as I said earlier, I get so dismayed when people have all these health issues when the scientists are so busy producing scientific proof or strong scientific evidence, as they say, on how these botanicals work in the body. So it's important to do your scientific work. It's very easy. You type in your search term on any botanical you want to study for its health benefits, and you type the phrase science journal after it. And that way, you eliminate all of the propaganda, all of the hard sales techniques, all of the pseudoscience, all of the incorrect, inaccurate, non-scientific reports out there that are just so abundant on the internet. But if you use the term science journal after your search phrase, you're going to get to this kind of information. Okay. All right. So I guess I'll just kind of stop it there because I'm leaving the rest of the more in-depth information that I provide for Institute members. Now, if you want to become a member of the True Health Mastery Institute of Holistic Personal Health Management, you get the full newsletter, free as a member. So I'm going to take you to my website very quickly here, so you can just get a glimpse of how to go about getting those supplements I mentioned. Well, actually, here's the Institute. You go to holisticchoices.com. I always put the link in the description below here. So by the time you see this, you will see the link. The True Health Mastery Institute is the page you want to look at. And so it'll tell you all the perks and all the advantages you get as for being a member, but also you get the free newsletter, the full newsletter. All right, so that's how you join. You just scroll down here and you click the join button. It's $12.97 a month. And what you're getting is life-changing, life-saving information every other week, twice a month. And I just need humanity to be healthier because it creates so much more happiness. Someone who is vibrantly healthy, they feel good inside. They feel calm. Even if you have a lot of stress in your life, you're going to be able to handle it so much more strongly and not have it affect your health so badly. So, people tend to attract more positive things into their lives. That's just how physics in this universe works, right? Like attracts like. And when you're vibrating at a higher frequency, your cells are vibrating with this high energy light speed that's flowing with the earth. And you can ask any physicist out there that it is actually a scientific fact. It's not something that's, out there. But yeah, it's so important to keep yourself vibrantly healthy. And the only way to do that is to get the right information and to receive that information on a regular basis so you can just apply a lot of this and protect yourself, things to stay away from, things to try, and experience for yourself, right? And see what wonderful results come of it, right? Also, if you want to look at the supplement that I mentioned earlier, then this is my supplements page. And you can just order straight out from this website. But I want to show you the ingredients of this multi that I've been advocating for so long. There are many other products that I advocate. The APL Go products are wonderful, and I should put a link to my my private associate site so that you can explore those. On this very channel are many videos that I produce for APL Go, and every month we go over some of the products and they submit questions and I answer the health questions. And so it's a very good scientific perspective on the products that I advocate, uh, in this particular company. But I also have other products that kind of round it out so that you are covered in every single aspect, all the nutrients that you need, all the phytochemical complexes that you need that for your health to support the healthy diet, of course. So, just go to holisticchoices.com and you can click on the picture of these products and purchase them. But I want you to take a look at these ingredients. I mean, this is a whole food organic complex. It has 100 whole food complexes or whole foods in them. And so it's pretty potent. They do add a lot of the vitamins and minerals in there as well. But these whole food complexes already have so much more absorbable. I shouldn't say much more absorbable because everything in this formulation is absorbable and utilizable in the body. But look at all the different food complexes that this formulation has. It's unreal. The other company that I mentioned, APL Go, they also have wonderful, huge array of food complexes. In fact, I've written a book for them, and I also wrote what I call the sister book for them, for the public. So I added not only the ingredients of the APL Go products, but also 60 more botanicals that are outside of the company's ingredients. So when you look at my books now, you can look to see all the different, for some reason the pictures aren't loading. Wonder why that is. Huh. I guess it's going to load pretty soon. But these are the books that I've written, and these are the videos describing the books. But this is the book that I'm particularly want to share with you. It's called Potent Superfoods for Lifelong True Health. There it is. Okay, so this is the hard copy, and this is the Kindle ebook version of it. So it has 60 more botanicals than the other book I wrote for that company. So it includes their ingredients and plus 60 more. I had to make it my own. I had to share with the public, the wonderful findings that I discovered in researching all these botanicals that are so amazing. So there are 109 botanicals in this first volume. There are 150 more botanicals that I'll be writing about in the subsequent volumes. So yeah, as my writing and researching just keeps on going. I'm never going to stop learning what the scientists continue to discover, all of these botanicals and wonderful foods, just so that we can enjoy better health, right? I've got to share this information. So I'm kind of extending the appreciation to these scientists to help them disseminate this information to the public, because I think their hands are tied, at least for now. I think that's changing, but that's a subject for another video in another time. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and stop my share. I think I covered everything so far. Sometimes I forget stuff, but yeah, I guess that's it for now. Okay, so thank you for being here with me. I hope you stayed the whole time. And if you like what you see, please like and share and subscribe and tap that notification bell so you don't miss any of these videos that I'm sharing with everyone, and enhance and improve your knowledge so that you can enjoy the optimal health vibrancy that I want everyone to experience. I practice what I teach. Everything that I learn, I apply to my own health, and I feel great. I'll be 72 in a few months, but I feel, I don't know, 30. I feel very, very healthy and very, very enthusiastic about my own future. I don't feel old. I don't feel like my life's over yet, by all means. No, I'm just getting started. I felt that way for years already, but I don't feel like I'm going to be slowing down anytime soon. I just want to share what I learned. It's my calling. It's my passion. And I hope that I've been able to inspire you, and some of my passion and enthusiasm has been infectious to you. So anyhow, thank you for being here. Please like, share, subscribe. Help me get this video out to as many people out there by doing so. When you like and share and subscribe and you tap that notification bell, when you do all of the above, it really does help this video get out to more people. All right, thank you so much for being here, and I'm going to say good night for now. All righty, so bye-bye.